Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Ortiz and I'm the high school Spanish teacher at Calico. At any point during this presentation, feel free to pause it, jot any notes or anything you want, any questions you might have down, and then resume the video. So my contact information, you see my email there at the top. You can also find that email at the Calico homepage. There's also some codes there because I do use the Remind app to text students about upcoming projects that are due or tests or quizzes just to remind them of those dates and when to study. You can feel free to join those messages as well. You just have to text that message, the certain letters and numbers there, and make sure you're in the specific block that your student is in. Tools that we use, so tech tools that we use every day in Spanish 1. The first is Quizlet. So Quizlet is where I put all the vocabulary words up, and students can use this resource to study the flashcards, they can play games with the vocab words, or practice spelling. This is a very great tool to look at every single night, so I don't assign formal homework. The homework should be that they're reviewing their vocabulary words and their grammar concepts so that they're not trying to do it the night before the test, because that will not work out since they have so many new words every week. Spanish 1 is a lot of memorization with vocab words, so it's important that they're looking at them a little bit every night. The next tool on there is Flipgrid. So Flipgrid is an app that students use to record themselves and submit their video responses. So I'll often give a prompt in Spanish and students will answer that prompt through a Flipgrid video. If Flipgrid, for whatever reason, is not working that day, they can always record their video on their computers and then send it through Schoology. The last one on there, we're going to jump to the last one for a second, is Google Meet. So we have a class Google Meet every Wednesday when everyone's virtual. And it's important that students come to this Google Meet on time because I do teach a new grammar lesson every Wednesday. And jumping back to Schoology, so that's probably the most important tech tool. That is where students will find their activities that they're supposed to be doing every single day when they're not at school. And just to see, so you can see what my Schoology page looks like for students, so they'll always have these 3 folders. The first one is the assignments for this week. So they'll click here every day to see what assignments they have to do while they're at home. Okay, so for example, here's the list that a group had to do this past week. So there'll always be an attendance assignment. I have to check attendance between 5 to 10 minutes when the class starts. So it's important that they complete this first, and then they should do everything in order. So there'll be a mix of activities. There'll be listening activities, speaking activities. There'll be grammar lessons where I teach a lesson, and there'll also be worksheets to review those lessons. The second folder on this page is just general information about our class. So you'll see the schedule with the times, our syllabus, all the codes for all the technology resources, as well as information about academic support. So this is a program after school on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So there's a different teacher each day for academic support from 2:45 to 3:45. It's optional. Students can come and go as they please. They do have to fill out a form to sign up for academic support first. And then they can come any of these days, and whatever teacher is there will help them to the best of their abilities to catch up on their work or complete assignments that they don't understand. I do happen to be one of the teachers for this program on Thursdays. So anytime students want to stay after school on Thursdays from 2:45 to 3:45, I will be here. And the last folder you see on here will be previous lessons. So this will be all the old stuff, previous weeks that we did, so they can come here if they want to look back at those assignments. A little bit about myself. So I grew up in Lidditz and graduated from Warwick in 2014, and then graduated from Millersville in 2018 with a degree in Spanish education and Latino studies. This is my first year at Calico, so I was previously a teacher at Columbia High School for 2 years, and I was also the softball coach. About how I learned Spanish, so my family, my mom's side of the family, is actually from Uruguay in South America, so it's that little country in between Argentina and Brazil. So I learned Spanish at home through speaking and listening. There's also some pictures of my trip to Uruguay when I got to go my senior year of college. I lived there for 2 months with family and got to really immerse myself in the culture and heritage. In college, I also was able to study abroad for 6 months in Chile. So I stayed with a host family and went to school and lived there and got to do a lot of different trips. So Chile is a beautiful country. So in the north, there's the desert, and you see some pictures of that. And in the south, closer to Antarctica, is the cold weather, the skiing, and the penguins and all that. So that was a really great way to truly immerse myself in the culture academically and socially. And I always encourage my students in the classroom to travel as much as possible and to use the language that they're learning in the classroom in real life experiences. So in our class, the mission is to challenge one another to become respectful and responsible global citizens. So each day they're coming in with an open mind, willing to gain new perspectives about people who are different from them and things, maybe food that people eat that are different, traditions that are different from here in the US. So they're just understanding the importance of diversity and valuing learning another language. Our values there at the bottom, so we're respecting one another. Students are being responsible for their own learning. So this is very important for this year especially, since they're only in the classroom twice a week. So it's a lot of responsibility on the students to do as best as possible when they're at home. Okay, so a lot of times they should be using their notes to complete all of their work. They should go back and check their answers. They are responsible for memorizing the vocab and the grammar for each chapter. And lastly, using the target language. So coming prepared when they're here only twice a week to speak Spanish as much as possible. Materials that they need. So when they're in class, they'll always have a pen or a pencil, paper. I encourage a folder to keep the notes. A lot of my stuff this year is online just to avoid that paper passing back and forth. And making sure your computer is fully charged every day. Again, I don't really assign homework. Their homework should be looking over their vocab and their grammar every single night before the test. If they are absent, it's their responsibility to come see me to see what they missed or get in contact with me and to set dates for maybe tests that they missed or quizzes. This semester, I'm encouraging students to come before school or after school to make up assignments just so that they're not using that very limited class time that we have to make up assignments. Assessments, so in Spanish, it's a little different than regular classes, so we'll have our written tests and quizzes, but also part of that will be, there'll be listening sections of quizzes and tests, and there's also speaking questions as well. And every chapter, there also is a different project. So each chapter, for example, chapter 1, your students had a writing assignment. Chapter 2, they have more of a presentation for this chapter. So there is no midterm in Spanish 1, there is just a final exam. So that will be just all of the information we've learned from day 1 until the very end. So again, there'll be a written section, but there'll also be a listening section that's worth 10% of the grade, and a speaking section that is also worth another 10% of the grade. So it's very important that students are practicing their pronunciation. I have videos of me pronouncing all of the vocabulary words each chapter, so it's important that they listen to those, repeat them back. And the last thing on this slide is participation. So it's impossible for students to learn the language without speaking it. Okay, and I understand that in Spanish 1, sometimes students are afraid to speak in Spanish. They don't want to sound dumb in front of their friends, but this is a growing and learning experience for everyone. And a safe space for anyone to make mistakes. And mistakes are going to happen. We make mistakes in English when we talk all the time. We mispronounce words or missay something, so it's going to happen in Spanish as well. But we need to practice in order to get better at it and be able to use the language in real life. So I'm sure you guys are all aware of the benefits of speaking Spanish. So you can communicate with so many more people. And it opens so many more opportunities when looking for a job and when applying for jobs. So being able to speak Spanish will really look great on resumes, and especially when students go to apply for colleges as well, because a lot of colleges look for that 2 to 3 years of experience in a language. They can also, if they end up taking the AP test, they can test out of some courses in college, which means that they get the credit for the courses and they don't have to pay for them, which is something that I did in college. I took the AP test and was able to skip 3 levels of Spanish at Millersville, so I didn't have to pay for those courses. The types of courses we offer at Cacalico in the language department, so there's Spanish 1 through 4, there's AP Spanish, there is Spanish for careers, and coming soon, hopefully next year, there'll be Hispanic film and culture. There are some prerequisites, so for Hispanic film and culture and Spanish for careers, you do have to complete levels 1 through 4 before going into these courses because they are completely in Spanish. And in order to fit all of these classes into only 4 years, we do recommend doubling up as soon as possible. So taking Spanish 1 in the fall semester and then Spanish 2 right away in the spring semester. So you will have to double up in order to take all of these courses. We also offer a program, the Global Scholars Program. So this is similar on a transcript to National Honor Society. So it's an organization, you'll see it on your transcript, so this will also appear on there if your students decide to do Global Scholars Program. So in the program, they have to meet a certain amount of requirements, and you can see these requirements listed here. So 4 years of the same language in high school, and 4 other courses with a global perspective. They'll have community service hours, extracurricular activities like clubs, and media reviews. If you would like more information about this organization, please reach out and I will get you in contact with the 2 teachers who run this program. Students also have the opportunity to take a summer trip to Costa Rica. So this happens every even summer. And if you are interested in this, please reach out again and I'll put you in contact with the teacher who runs this program. So students have to complete at least 2 years of Spanish and be signed up for level 3. So they complete level 1 and 2 and then they're signed up for the 3rd level. Everything costs $2,500, or mostly everything. Obviously souvenirs and things like that won't be included. And this trip does count as an extracurricular activity and could count as community service. You also have the opportunity to host students if you want to have Spanish-speaking students come into your house and live with you for a summer or a semester or even as long as a year. And your students also have the opportunity to study abroad in high school and do the same thing, so study for a summer, semester, or a year long, so they'll live with the host family and really immerse themselves in the culture and language. So that is all I have for my presentation about my class. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out if you are interested in any of those programs mentioned or have any questions about the syllabus about our class. Please reach out to my email you see below. Thank you for watching.